Disturbing news. Everything you remember is wrong.
Hi, I'm Madison.
And I'm Anna.
And we're from Macon, Georgia. Let's talk about that.
Good Mythical Morning!
This episode is brought to you by Catulas.com. That's, of course, the guys with the goods.
Goods like the barbecue pizza pan. You got a grill? You want to make a pizza? We can make your dreams come true, Link.
I actually do want to do that, so I'm going to take this home and I'm going to grill a pizza perfectly tonight outdoors.
Link,
and become more manly.
Your memories are tainted by yourself. Did you know that?
Speak for yourself.
I'm a big fan of Wired magazine. We both subscribe to it. For some reason, your Wired magazine comes to my house, and then I have to give it to you.
That's because you gifted it to me,
but
I appreciate that.
But I put my own address on it.
Yeah, so you gifted it to yourself, but then re-gifted it to me.
But it has your name on it, which should make you feel good.
Okay.
And it's a gift from me to you.
I'll let that start making me feel good.
If you're interested in the types of things that mythical beasts are interested in, you might enjoy Wired magazine. A couple of months back, one of the issues, actually the cover story, was about how memories work.
Now, I actually read this story too, but I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm kind of leaning on you to actually remember this story about memory.
Well, I had to reread it recently to remember it, so I can now explain it.
Okay.
They've known for years that when you form a memory, there's actually something physical that happens in your brain, okay? So it's almost like your brain is a hard drive, in the same way that there's a physical change that happens inside a hard drive when you load information onto it.
I don't know that that's true.
There is. It's a very small physical change, but it's something physical is happening in there. And what happens in your brain is that there's new neural pathways that are built. Basically, neurons align themselves in certain ways, proteins are synthesized, and you form a memory that is a physiological reality inside your brain, okay? But what they have recently discovered, and what this article is about, and this is where it gets really fascinating, is that when you recall a memory, when you go back to that place in your brain,
when you remember,
you rebuild the memory. It isn't like you just go back and you take a picture of this perfectly constructed thing, but actually when you go back to that place in your brain, and I know we're using some analogies here that I'm probably insulting the scientific community, but you don't go back to that place. Yeah, but you guys don't care. What happens is those neural pathways are basically completely rebuilt and resynthesized. New proteins are built. Now what this means is that when you go back and you re-access that memory, whatever you happen to be doing at the time, whatever you happen to be going through at the time actually changes and taints the way that you remember it. And the cumulative effect is that memories change over time. And they did this experiment. There's a study that these guys who were doing this memory study referenced. They had people who experienced 9/11, who were involved in the events, like rescue workers and people who were in the buildings and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Recall the events right after them. They took testimony and they took different stories to kind of recreate what happened. Then they went back a year later and they realized that 37% of the details of the original stories had changed just over the course of a year, as those people had continually gone back and relived this traumatic thing, this thing that had been deeply implanted and built inside their brain. And then, I think it's a 10-year study. They hadn't had the complete results, but 5 years later, 50% of the details have been changed.
So memories are kind of like playing a game of telephone within your own brain. My first question is, if you don't access the memory, does it fade and you don't remember at all? So is it better to at least access it, even if you're going to rebuild it and thereby change it somewhat? Isn't that better than not accessing it at all? Because then it's just going to go away.
Well, they didn't talk about that, but it sounds like a good theory to me. You could be a scientist. You should wear a white coat every day. You need to change into a white cardigan.
Probably be better than this ensemble.
And, okay, but what they discovered is that these people who, and by these people I mean all people, we don't think that we're lying. We're not lying. It's not that these people are going back and changing their testimony. It's that the memory, they sincerely believe that this is what's happened because they've rebuilt it. And
well, it's interesting because even in yesterday's episode,
yes,
the 100th episode, when we sang the song for you guys, I'm surprised more of you guys haven't pointed out in the comments, but we realized it when watching the episode back. Rhett's Rhett sang about me eating a rat's tail, which I did not do.
You ate a worm's anus.
The way to a woman's heart is through a worm's anus. We said we re-accessed the memory multiple times, and each time we said the way to a woman's heart is through a worm's anus. But then a worm's anus. I can't even say it right. I'm remembering it wrong. But then when you wrote the song, you wrote it differently. You wrote the part about the rat tail, which I also kept in my book bag. It was an associated memory.
And you didn't pick up on it. And only a few people have commented on it.
Yeah, I heard the lyrics, and I was about to point something out, but then I forgot what I was about to point out, and I was distracted by something else, and then it just became reality.
When I went back to rebuild the memory, I wanted to block out the worm's anus, and I wanted to embrace the rat's tail. And I suddenly replaced them and built a new memory and then inserted it into a song. I ruined the 100th episode song. I didn't realize it until today.
But at least we have a record that we can go back. You know, maybe we should journal or at least tape record all of our memories and put it in a show every morning. And then we'll hold ourselves to that.
Well, that would be smart. That's what we are doing. But
there's therapy.
But here's what I want to do.
There's a therapeutic thing happening here, right?
What they're trying to do with this research is they're basically trying to say they want to get to a point where it changed the way that people who have traumatic events in their past, things that they've experienced, memories that haunt them, and they actually determine the course of their lives. They want to go back and have people, ultimately what they want to do is they want to have people re-access those memories, and they want to give them a drug at the time of them re-accessing those memories where they cannot build the proteins and they will actually forget and erase the memory. That's the ultimate goal according to the article.
Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind.
A little scary. But in the meantime, what they're already doing is they're giving people drugs while they re-access these memories. They give them feelings of euphoria. So if you've got a traumatic event and you re-access it under the influence of these drugs that give you this good feeling, you change the way those neural pathways are built, and the memory isn't as traumatic anymore.
And these people administering the drugs, that's Wired.com?
Yeah. Good. Great job. We'll never get Wired to sponsor any of our videos.
It's Catulas.com.
No. It's not.
They're erasing memories.
It's not one of our sponsors. It's just some doctors out there. The guys with the white coats.
Okay.
But we don't do drugs. And we're not going to do drugs on this show. But what we are going to do is I kind of see myself as a therapist in some way. I'm going to have Link here as an experiment re-access a traumatic...
Interestingly enough, I do not see you as a therapist.
Good. A traumatic memory from his past. But I'm going to do something. I'm not going to administer drugs to him while he's doing this in order to change the memory and give it a good taste in his brain. I'm actually going to feed him yogurt from Yogurtland. Also not a sponsor, but they are the closest yogurt place. So,
but they do sell drugs in the back.
Loves yogurt. It gives him a feeling of euphoria. Makes him happy. I'll go ahead and give you a little bit. And I am going to feed this to you. Yes, I don't want you to eat it.
Not too much because my teeth are really sensitive.
Okay, I don't want it to be a traumatic experience.
All right, so I need to relive a memory, therapist, and we're going to see if this...
The good yogurt?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it is. Good. That's key.
Superior to ice cream.
I want you to close your eyes. I want you to re-access a traumatic memory. Just kind of relive it, and I'm going to feed you yogurt throughout it. We're going to recreate a new memory in your brain. It's going to be a good one.
Okay, this is the bad memory that I have of 6th grade when I went over to Zach West's house. Zach West kept asking me over to his house, and I was a timid child. I didn't like going over to anybody's house. And Zach was growing facial hair in 6th grade. He was really I don't know when it's going into my mouth.
This one's got a strawberry in it. Be ready for that.
I didn't want to go over to his house because he was growing a beard in 6th grade. But he kept asking me, so I went over there. And at Zach West's house, it was a long ranch-style house. One half of it was where he lived with his mom, and then the other half of it, his grandma lived there. Now, she had her own kitchen, and she had her own living room. It was basically a separate house, but it was connected. She was retired. She lived there. They kept an eye on her, whatever. But I go over to Zach West's house. I'm going to spend the night. Zach West says, ooh.
Just keep going.
It's still pretty unpleasant memory, but it tastes good. The memory's starting to taste better.
Just let them meld. Let them meld together.
Zach says, hey, let's go spy on my grandmother. And I'm like, what? So we start crawling down the hallway. And I remember slowly opening the door to her living room. And I could see. I could see that her back was to us. We creeped behind her couch, and she was watching a soap opera on the couch. And we're just spying on her for the longest time. And nothing was happening. So then Zach West starts creeping around in front of the couch.
It's a big strawberry.
What in the world?
I want you to be happy about this.
Give me more yogurt. I don't really like the strawberries.
Okay, sorry, I don't want to ruin it.
So anyway,
Down.
creep around in front, and she sees us. Say, what are y'all doing in here? I'm trying to watch my program. And then Zach West picks me up. He turns me over, and he performs the wrestling move known as the pile driver on me, right in front of his grandma. She just kind of looked at the whole thing happening. She didn't say a word. It really, he dropped me right on my head, and it was embarrassing. I feel like a baby. I feel like I'm regressing back to 6th grade, but okay, thank you. So anyway, that was it. He pile drove me. I never went back to his house, and I never saw his grandma again. But why didn't she stand up for me?
Okay. On the count of 3. I
Give me one more.
I want you to pop out of it. I want you to take the spoon so you feed yourself. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now snap out of the memory.
I wasn't hypnotized. I was just sharing a memory.
How you feel?
I feel satisfied.
Now I want you to wait
It's still kinda
I want you
sad.
to wait a couple of days to re-access that memory, and you're gonna have good feelings, or at least you're gonna crave yogurt.
So I'm supposed to report back?
Yeah, report back.
Okay.
Let's spin the wheel and end this ridiculous episode.
I don't know. That was a terrible memory. Hopefully it'll. This is good though.
It's a good memory now.
I don't know if it's a good memory.
It's better.
Totally true, by the
It
way.
just needs to be better. Cellmates.
What are you in here for?
Larceny. You know what that is?
That's when you burn stuff.
That's arsony.
Oh, it's amazing what one little L can do to a crime.
Larceny. A lot of people think it's stealing cars. Larceny. It's actually when you
Burn cars.
when you plagiarize the guy from The Far Side.
That's pretty good. Are you a comedian?
Yeah, his name's Gary Larson. Get it? Hey man, I heard you.
I got it. Yeah, you want some yogurt? They serve excellent yogurt in here.
Where'd you get that?